After the fall of the Valyrian freehold, Essos became embroiled in 100 years of war between rival factions vying for power. This time became known as the Bleeding Years and the Century of Blood. The Dothraki would rampage across the continent, burning cities and forming what would become the Dothraki Sea, while the free cities battled for dominance of the western trade. The kingdoms of Sarnor, the Ibbenese kingdom of Ifekevron, and many of the Kathi city-states would fall during this time. After years of preparation, the Dragon Lord, Aegon the Conqueror, along with his sister wives, Rhaenys and Visenya, rode their dragons west, along with an army of only 1,600, and began the invasion of Westeros. One by one, the kingdoms that ruled the continent fell to the Targaryen onslaught. Though they often fought with a disadvantage in numbers, their dragons could not be stopped, and they rampaged through Westeros until the last remaining lords either bent the knee or died resisting. House Baratheon became lords of the Stormlands, the Starks, lords of the North, the Tullys, lords of the Riverlands, the Greyjoys, lords of the Iron Islands, the Tyrells, lords of the Reach, the Lannisters, lords of the Westerlands, and the Arryns, lords of the Vale. Only Dorne was able to resist Conquest, and after losing many Targaryen soldiers to the defiant Southerners, Aegon made peace and recognized the sovereignty of Dorne, under the rule of House Martell. With nearly all of the continent conquered, Aegon Targaryen was crowned King of Westeros and Protector of the Realm, marking Year 1 AC after the conquest. King Aegon then created the position of Hand of the King, appointing his closest friend Orys Baratheon to the station. Only a few years later, Aegon once again invaded Dorne in the First Dornish War, attempting to unite the continent under his rule. In 10 AC, Rhaenys, Queen of Westeros and wife of Aegon I, would die in battle against the Dornish. The war continued for 3 more years, with Dorne refusing to submit, until King Aegon received a mysterious letter from Prince Nymor Martell. And while the contents of the letter remain unknown, Aegon immediately withdrew his troops from Dorne, ending the war. In 37 AC, Aegon the Conqueror, first king of Westeros, died of natural causes. In his absence, his eldest son, Aenys, inherited the throne. During the reign of Aenys I, House Targaryen would continue the Valyrian tradition of incest, marrying his eldest daughter Rhaenyra to his eldest son Aegon. However, this came into conflict with the moral teachings of the Faith of the Seven, and so rebellion rose against the Targaryens. For many years, the Faith militants would organize the faithful and wage war against the Targaryens. King Aenys in turn proved poorly suited to rule and was incapable of stopping the bloodshed. Only a year later, he would die of illness on Dragonstone. After the death of King Aenys, the elderly Queen Visenya, widow of Aegon the Conqueror, flew to Pentos and brought back her son, and Aenys' half-brother, Meagor Targaryen. Queen Visenya then took Aenys' children hostage, proclaiming Meagor king and issuing an open challenge to any who disputed the claim. This challenge was accepted by Sir Daemon Morrigan, called the Devout, and they fought each other in a trial of 7, with King Meagor coming out victorious. King Meagor would spend the years of his reign battling the Faith militants, earning a reputation for cruelty. In 45 AC, he completed construction of the Red Keep and Maegor's Holdfast, creating a vast labyrinth of hidden passages, and ensuring their secrecy by killing the many craftsmen and laborers who built it. He would also go to war with Prince Aegon and later Prince Jaehaerys, the sons of Aenys, who continued to dispute his claim to the throne. In 44 AC, Queen Visenya Targaryen, mother of King Meagor, wife of Aegon I, died of natural causes. Meagor struggled without the guidance of his mother, and in 48 AC, he is abandoned by his wife and several of his Kingsguard. King Meagor I died sitting on the Iron Throne, many believing he slit his wrists in the night. With Meagor dead, his nephew Jaehaerys inherited the crown. King Jaehaerys I would declare a truce, ending the war with the Faith militants, granting their members amnesty in return for their submission to Targaryen rule. He became known as the Conciliator and ruled a long and prosperous reign, with many believing he was the greatest king Westeros ever knew. After the death of his son and heir, King Jaehaerys chose to call a Great Council to decide on the inheritance. The First Great Council of 101 AC chose to honor a male heir in Prince Viserys, passing over Princess Rhaenys and leaving a precedent for future generations, that the Iron Throne could not pass to a woman or to a male descendant of a woman. King Jaehaerys died of natural causes in 103 AC, and his grandson Viserys inherited the throne. King Viserys I was a good ruler and kept Westeros prosperous and peaceful. He had 3 children, but his 2 sons died young. leaving only Princess Rhaenyra as a possible heir. Despite the precedent of the Great Council, Viserys embraced the idea of a female heir in order to avoid his brother Daemon Targaryen from taking the throne. The kingdom united behind this arrangement, and in 105 AC, hundreds of lords and knights swore oaths to defend Princess Rhaenyra's right to the throne. King Viserys would remarry after the death of his first wife to Queen Alicent Hightower. The king and queen produced many sons and daughters, but Viserys insisted on keeping his eldest daughter, Rhaenyra, as heir. Queen Alicent headed a faction that would become known as the Greens, while Princess Rhaenyra headed the Blacks. Viserys often attempted to bring peace between them, but he could not stop what was to come. In 129 AC, Viserys died of natural causes, and Queen Alicent, along with her Kingsguard, Sir Criston Cole, immediately set to usurping the throne. She proclaimed her elder son, Aegon, King of Westeros, second of his name, and legitimate heir to Viserys Targaryen. Legally, she would cite the Great Council of 101 AC, where it was decided females could not inherit the throne and could not pass it through their line. Therefore, the crown must go to the eldest son of the king, Aegon. On Dragonstone, a pregnant Rhaenyra was enraged at the betrayal of the queen and was so shaken she went into labor, eventually losing the child. Once she recovered, she raised her armies and waged war against the queen and Aegon II. Known as the Dance of the Dragons, this was the first major civil war of the Seven Kingdoms and saw the continent split in support of Rhaenyra and Aegon. While many kept the oaths taken in 105 AC to Rhaenyra, others did not, and stayed neutral or supported Aegon. The war would end disastrously, with both contenders for the throne dead, along with a great majority of the dragons and their riders. In 131 AC, the Old Man of the North, Cregan Stark, Lord of Winterfell, came south with a mighty army in support of Rhaenyra Targaryen. Even after her death, they continued to King's Landing, eager to take revenge, but before they arrived, Aegon II was poisoned, and with no more male heirs on the side of his family, Rhaenyra's son Aegon III was crowned as King of Westeros, and the war was over. Lord Stark was enraged that the war ended before his army could crush the rebel forces, and so he made the young ruler name him Hand of the King, an office he held for a single day, in which he rounded up all those suspected of poisoning Aegon II, and passed judgment on them, sending some to the wall and others to their graves, after which he resigned his position and returned to the north. King Aegon III inherited the throne after the Dance of the Dragons, and attempted to rebuild the kingdom. Though his reign was largely peaceful, he was unable to breed healthy dragons, and with so many lost in the war, the race went extinct under his rule, thus earning him the name Dragonbane. Queen Alicent, who had survived the war, was arrested shortly after, and died in the prisons of King's Landing in 133 AC of winter fever. In 157 AC, King Aegon III died of natural causes.